How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Longfriend, Time Friend, and they can say their names and what they do in the band.
I'm Pete. I play drums.
I'm Louie. I play bass.
I'm Caleb. I play guitar and vocals.
I'm M, and I also play guitar and vocals. And Louis sold himself short.
I
He
also
sings.
do some vocals.
Yes.
I didn't know we were including that.
Well, don't sell yourself short, Louis, but shout outs to the homies. I got to see them a little bit ago with our other good friends. If you've been on the channel, and you'll surely see this video before this video comes out, but with Sales Ahead and Pulses, salutes. I love them. They're fam, so I had
Shout out to Woodland Creatures.
Woodland Creatures, yeah, shout outs to the homies. But I had Louis come up to me at the show because I'm pretty sure I was talking to Sierra, and Sierra's like, hey, this guy does things musically, and I was like, I do things of the music variety. So, and then we got in contact, and here we are. So very, very sick. I know you guys are from the Philadelphia area, so if you do live locally like myself, go out and see them. There will be links below. If you do not see Longfriend, Time Friend live, you're missing out. Great live band. So very, very excited. But I wanted to know, since obviously I only saw you guys play, but I wanted to know how the band formed. I'm a huge nerd, so I love to know, just give me the whole anthology story of how the group formed, origin story. Give me all the details. I'd love to know.
I feel like the elevator pitch is both sets. So Em and I have been friends for over 20 years, and Louis and Caleb have both been friends for over 20 years. And we used to play in bands together, when we were younger. Caleb and I met through a mutual friend. And when Em and I moved to Philly, Caleb needed a backing band for a show for his solo project. And after our first practice, we were feeling like the vibes were really good. And we were like, we should start a band. And Caleb was like, yes. And that is more or less the story. Louis joined up. We had another bass player for a little while when we were first kind of messing around. But I feel like the band really became the band when Louis joined shortly thereafter.
Definitely.
Caleb texted me and he was like, hey, do you still have a bass?
Not do you play bass?
Just do you have one?
I hit him with a resounding, I'm pretty sure. And so I started playing bass again, and it's been the best decision ever, I think.
The confidence level was super high, so I feel like you had to commit. There's no going out.
I was like, what, 4 years ago now?
Yeah, it would have been 4 years ago. Yeah, because we
4 years ago.
It's funny because we kind of accidentally became a pandemic band. We
Not on purpose, because
but you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people started things during
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, or extra time or whatever, right? Whereas we had played our first show, backing up Caleb, and wrote one or two songs. We went and recorded one, and we were ready to do our first couple shows, and then lockdown happened. So we were like, okay,
Yeah, Louis joined the band at the tail end of December 2019.
Yeah.
Oh no.
yeah.
We were so psyched. We were getting ready to book shows.
yeah, we had probably 4 or 5 songs done, and then
So we all live in South Philly, and we all live really close to each other. So we kind of did the social bubble thing, and the only thing that we did for several months was get together and write songs, and that's how we got the first record done. And it's kind of been, that's as they say, the rest is history, I guess.
The rest is in fact history. Well, I'm glad it wasn't just a pandemic band of just hey, we're doing this thing in that time frame, and then just we're gonna call it quits. It's over with. I'm glad that it's continuing on, and obviously, hopefully positive affirmations going further. We don't have to, I'm not trying to get into this shit again, so be smart. But
we'll keep writing records. We don't need another pandemic. That's fine.
That's great. I'll gladly take another record over being stuck inside for the rest of my life. So very, very sick. You also do have a new album that everybody can go check out. Links below. If you have not gone to check this album out, please go do it. I'll leave just a giant link set just down below. Go show them some love. But I had the chance at work, because I get to listen to music at my job, and I went through and listened to the album probably about 10 times roughly, and I was I was like, damn, this is fucking good. Like, I got to see you live, so I feel like I had a little bit of a perspective, but to hear like the finished product and like just all together, I think it just was really, really well put together. And I was unfortunate I had to do something on your release night, but I will definitely come out to see you guys again next time you're in Philly, which is probably right around the corner, I'm sure. But
So, like, yeah.
We're playing on Saturday.
say, oh, I guess I got something to do Saturday then.
And
But
if you can't make it, we're also playing next Saturday.
And if you can't
multiples
make that,
every
and you
Saturday.
want to drive to Boston.
We have a lot of shows coming up. Come
Lot of
follow us on
shows.
social media.
A lot of
Come
shows
follow us
coming
on
up.
tour.
Oh my god. But I would say my personal favorites off of here's to not here's to not feeling worse. I had it all good. I it was a little stumbling block, but I made it.
Exist
But
to challenge people in
Exactly.
this way.
yeah, my brain is turning into mush.
You put all the energy into getting the band name right.
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah.
what's the album right?
I had to practice in the mirror beforehand. There's a lot to roll through, but I would say Catalyst Glow and Brave Steps were probably my two favorite off the album. I just those songs immediately when they came on and in my headphones, I was just like, oh man, I'm so excited to come back to these songs when I go through and listen to it again. And they just kept sticking with me as I was going through and listening. But for people who haven't heard of your band before, and this may be the first interview they watched, do you have any song you would recommend to a new listener or check out first to kind of give them a flavor of what you guys do?
I feel like the easy answer is probably the two singles that we put out, right? Axis and Meriden came out in January and February, respectively. They're, I think, the two songs on the record that were, we put them out as singles for a reason, right?
Sure,
We were
yeah.
proud of them, and I think that they are really, really strong songs that like represent the style well. I like all the songs on the album, but
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, like the thing that you just said is unbelievably validating because kind of our whole songwriting ethos is to cut as much fat as humanly possible off of every song. Like Brave Steps is
A minute
is
40.
yeah,
No,
it's
Not even.
not even.
It's minute and 4.
Yeah,
A minute and 4.
Yeah.
Wow. All
I
right.
think it's just over a minute long. And like our dream as we're being like, oh, should we put another chorus in at the end and ultimately decide not to? Is that like, no, we want people to hear it and like want to hit, like replay.
Yeah.
So
Over too soon is a sweet spot.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We'd much rather have that than going on too long.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the nice thing is that the record, how many songs are on the record? 12? 11 songs and it's under 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Two for two. This is our second LP, and both of them are over 10 songs and under 30 minutes, baby.
Woo! Cooking.
all
Yeah,
rippers.
I think it's right. Axis and Meriden, we dropped them as singles. We think that they're like easy to pick up and enjoy. And if I was gonna push one more, it would be Denver, which I think we've
Ooh.
all been like, real proud to have people here now that the album's out. In part because I think it shows off some of our favorite things to do as a band. It's got this really fun section that it builds to with a lot of overlapping vocals. The show we just played on Friday, we covered Feeling This by Blink-182.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's got that sort of like woven, like everyone's going at the same time. Some of it's harmonies, some of it's different lyrics. And we've always wanted to do shit like that.
We really like rounds.
We did. We're a punk band with the spirit of a choir.
Correct.
Or
yeah.
like sea shanties, maybe. I don't know.
Sure, it's on a ship.
I will say, I
also-
think that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's also those three especially are like they're very like emotionally charged songs, and I think there's something about them that people have really latched onto, especially Axis and Meriden. I feel like a lot of listeners have been like, "This is great," and it's like both in the singing of these two, and also just in the lyrical matter that people can like really relate to. So. That's why I think those two are really good.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Thanks, buddy.
I would say it's
Great.
really infectious. There's something about it when I immediately put it on. I was like, there was something about just like the vocal harmonies, like the way that you guys kind of laid it out. It has a certain charm to it that I think I really appreciate. Just kind of doing like more of that DIY kind of thing and not really Not really saying like, oh, we're gonna be doing this specific thing. You could get one song that's just like more fast and has more of an upbeat tempo, and you can have other songs where it's like a little bit more minimalized and just kind of allows you to get in that groove. But I would agree. I think the best sentiment is it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like in the perfect sweet spot of like I want more, but and I know I'm gonna get more with like as I'm going through the song list, but like it almost feels like when you get to the last song, it just feels like one continuous cycle. There's no stopping point, which I thought was
Oh, yeah.
really interesting. I was like, wait, what song am I
That
on?
was intentional, so I really appreciate
And I
that.
had to look at my phone because I was like, wait a second. I was like, I've listened to this song like 3 more times than I realized that I listened to
Oh,
it
yeah.
just going through the album. So I love the fact that you almost can lose track of time in that way. Like I think that's what makes it really incredible. So if you
Thanks
have
so
not
much.
gone to listen to it, go do it. It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, no problem, no problem. But I also wanted to know in regards to the structure for this album, is there any song in particular that took a little bit longer to put together? Was there one song that was just like, man, oh man, this one took a little bit to come together, but I'm so glad we like worked real hard on just digging through the grave and trying to get it right.
I have 2 answers
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah.
I have one straight
There's-
answer, but
Definitely one right answer.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
close friend.
Okay, yes, but I actually have another answer.
Whoa.
So okay, so we have 2 songs on the album that I think answer this question. Close Friend is like more of a ballad, and we put a lot of effort into the production of that song and trying to like try production techniques that we'd never done before, because a lot of our stuff we try to very much kind of like lock in an element of it still sounding like live and raw.
Sure, yeah.
And not overly polished, and that song I think took a lot of work because of like the way that we programmed drums and worked on guitar tones and things like that, and it spent the most time in mixing with like getting notes. But I think during the songwriting process, for me, I would say it's This Machine Maintains Itself.
That was what came to mind for me too, because we kind of broke that one down and rewrote it over and over again, and it ended up in this sick place where it like it opens with like a quasi breakdown. There's a bridge part that like tonally shifts the song,
Yeah.
and then it ends on this like very rowdy sing along like reggaeton beat. That's
There's, like-
super danceable, and like the song's never the same thing for too long, but it does feel continuous. It does feel like it's got one clear thing to say, and I think it's reflective of the turbulent nature of the relationship of the lyrics, right? Like it's a song about the idea that you can autopilot relationships and everything will just be fine, and of course that doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
And for a song to never let you like rest or relax or sink into one vibe, but just keep like kind of jerking you around while talking about a relationship that keeps jerking you around, it just kind of I felt like it was a mess until it was a vision. It just
Yeah.
kind of became exactly what it was supposed to be after a lot of tinkering, I thought.
And I feel like with Close Friend, like that was a song that from the first time that we demoed it, I was confident it would come together like in the studio, whereas like This Machine, it wasn't until like 2 or 3 weeks before we went into the studio, I was like, okay, I finally think this is good enough to record.
Oh my God.
We had one practice where I was like, can we just make this like I have a suggestion that's insane. Can we make this as weird as possible? And the answer was yes. And I think that like having that weird kind of sludgy intro with all the yelled vocals, which really kind of puts you on your back heel before the guitars even come in, really, it's a ton of fun to play. It
I'm
turned
sure.
into one of my favorite songs.
They're also like back to back on the album. So like
It's so funny.
I know.
There like are two songs that are like different from our normal sound in opposite directions.
Yeah.
And like so it feels like as we're like going through the album, it's like you're kind of caught off guard one way and then caught off guard another way, and then we're kind of like back like right where like you said, like into that like rotation of
motion,
music
yeah.
back in with Praise Steps and then Axis and Meriden.
settles back into its skin after that like moment of profound
you get jolted.
Weirdness.
it's just comfort and weirdness.
And ending with the 2 singles.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the funny thing for me because, you know, that those 2 songs perform well, like better online than anything else we've ever put out ever, which is really exciting for us. So it's fun for me to imagine a person be like, oh, this is kind of cool, and then putting on the record and not hearing it
until the tail
until
end.
the end.
Yeah, and
Which thankfully is only like 24 minutes.
Yeah.
it's not that much of an ass. Hey, yeah.
It's quick enough, you know. I feel like that's that was kind of my case because I wanted to go into like listening to the album blind. So I went in and I had not listened to the singles. I had not done any of that stuff, and I was like, I wonder, because obviously I have that preconceived notion of like what you guys sound like because I've seen you live, but just to have a new album and have new stuff going on in it, I was like, what are they gonna throw? You know, what type of kitchen sink are they're gonna throw at me? And I think I would agree. Like that middle section was like it kind of takes you out of reality a little bit, which I respect because I think it gives more closure to like the front and the end half of the album, because if you don't have that middle section of like what the fuck's going on, like it would just be like kind of like more of a straight line. And I appreciate the fact that you get a little bit of that jarring effect, because I think it makes some of the more like quote unquote like tame songs a little bit more like, oh, now I have to like listen to these songs and like pick out different things that I wouldn't have picked out on, where like the jarring songs you already know you're going to be picking out a lot of stuff because they're intense and they're insane. So I appreciate the fact that at least I think it was maybe methodical in the way that you guys arranged it, where you're like,
It
oh
very
man,
much was.
we got to do it this way.
Yeah, I really appreciate you picking up on that, because it was definitely like a conversation we had, and like putting the singles at the end, I think like felt kind of like a risk, but like people have said that they liked that choice and that it, you know, felt like it was like led to a more satisfying apex for the end of the record, which is, you know, what we were hoping for. And you made a comment earlier about like the kind of different like dynamics of the record and the way that it kind of like rises and falls and all that stuff. And I think like, you know, the one artist that I think we all probably agree is the biggest influence on our sound is probably Jeff Rosenstock. And that's something that we really appreciate about the way that he crafts albums, is like having something that feels like theatrical, you know, almost that like it tells a story through the sound palette as well as the lyrics, right? And that you should go through a range of emotions on a record, you know?
Yeah. I think it makes it more captivating, right? I think if you're, I'm a serial album listener, so I feel like for myself, like I would want, if I was making music, I would want somebody to experience the things that the band collectively has gone through in almost like a storyboard sort of session, right? And I think you get a lot more out of it, where, you know, again, I might be like kind of shaking my fist at the sky, but like that's why I'm not really a big fan of the like singles route. I mean, if bands do it, hey, it is what it is. I respect it, but like there's something specific about like being intentional with putting an album together, and like there's so much more like storyline, there's so much more storyboarding, there's just a lot more thought, I feel like, that goes into it when you're like, we need to put it in this sort of process, and people kind of have to respect that sort of artistic vision that we have, because a single isn't going to drive that point home, but an album or an EP will or might, you know. So I appreciate the fact that you stuck to your guns on that.
Thanks. Thank you. And like, since we're talking about like, it's kind of like putting a puzzle together, and like, there's definitely decisions that we made based off of where things go on the album that were like, intentional. Like the first song's about being a bad friend, the last song's about having good friends. We also like this. If it was a vinyl, the start of one side would be bad friend, and the other side would be close friend. So it'd be Bad Friend by Longfriend, Time Friend, and Close Friend by Longfriend.
So that point, sides A and B end with a site-specific song, right?
Yeah.
Side A ends with Denver, which is about like missing somebody who's not near to you, and side B ends with Meriden, which is very much about the people who are near to you getting you through shitty times. And I think that like mid-record disruption that we were talking about, that Close Friend and This Machine maintain, is like it's a moment to kind of shake off the shittiest parts of what it's like to be alive in 2024. That the first half of the record is very much like mired in, you know, talking about you know, having to like reevaluate your relationships, talking about like chronic pain and chronic illness, talking about you know, depression and anxiety, and shaking it off with these moments of uncertainty, and then settling into the two singles that close the record, which are like, well, I can find my comfort and my peace and joy and meaning in love and community. And that's whether it's the intimacy of a one-on-one relationship or the community of a larger group of friends or a larger scene. You know, going from like what sucks about now to what's great about now as the arc. I think it's something that like we settled into when we were sequencing. And I think it's something that like I really feel when I go back and listen to the sequence we landed on. I'm glad it came through for you too.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think, yeah, obviously everyone experiences rough times, certainly. And I think I've personally had like a mental shift of like, you know, I tend to visualize my life in like however many years out. And I'm not like really thinking about like, what am I doing tomorrow? Like, what's the cool shit I want to do tomorrow? Like, how am I going to live that way? And I think to me, it's like this album made me kind of reflect a little bit more on that and be like, I should just enjoy the shit that I enjoy doing. Like, I get to talk to bands like pretty often, and like that's fucking sick. So I think I think it's a very cool perspective album, and I would highly recommend people like checking the lyrics out and doing all that stuff. Unfortunately, I couldn't have that up in my job, but I did listen to the album, so you can be like me and go give it some love. But I wanted to know, you guys kind of touched on it in terms of like influences, but who are some of the artists that you guys specifically that got you into music? Like the first instinct that you either saw them on YouTube or like on TV, and you're just like, I want to be a musician. That seems sick. Is there any person or comes to mind?
This is an easy softball for me, and everyone knows I'm going to say Green Day, but I'm going to say Green Day anyway.
Fair enough.
There's a sick day I took in 7th grade where I was watching MTV and the American Idiot music video came on, and I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? I'm an oldest kid, and I wasn't like close with like any cousins or anything, so like nobody. I was introduced to like my parents' generation of rock and roll, which I always really liked, but that like, you know, pop sensibility brought to punk music. And that willingness to say unpopular shit was like a confluence for me of like, oh, music can do this? Okay, then I'm making some. It was 100% what got me into making music as like an artist in the way that we do now, as like a singer-songwriter, lyricist.
My answer is so funny because like I have, I think, a similar relationship for like getting into punk music and like really actually caring about being in a band. I think was similar for me with Blink-182, but the first band that I ever liked really on my own and that was like a huge motivator for me to play drums was actually Slipknot. Who
Nice.
I stand by to this day. The first 3 albums are fucking sick, and like, you know, I have a big background in like, I love video games, I love comics, I love schlocky B movies, and Slipknot being like, there's 9 fucking people, they have 3 drummers, they all look like horror movie villains, they wear like coordinated outfits. I was like, this is something else, right? Like my frame of reference for rock music before that being like the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix, and then I was like, what the fuck is this? You know?
It's so on board, yeah.
I don't know if I brought this up, but did you know that we went to high school with the drum tech for Slipknot?
No, that's fucking awesome.
That's so sick.
I knew that. Justin Nace is the drum.
No shit.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Shout out.
That's Justin.
Both drummers?
3. They have 3 drummers.
Sorry, sorry. 2 brothers.
Dude, you've been answering.
So I feel like I want to say The Clash. just because, listening to them as a teenager, I just was like, yeah, this is badass, and I want to be exactly like this band.
That's fair.
And I
yeah.
just like, I don't know, I felt like there's like an edginess to the lyrics, and they weren't like afraid to try new things, and I think it was completely different from like what I was listening to. Just like Pete was saying, like it's very different from the alt 90s stuff that I was listening to as a kid and the like classic rock that I was listening to as a kid. So
yeah, I mean, similar to what Em said, I grew up on like a real steady diet of sort of like classic rock staples like Bruce Springsteen and like Led Zeppelin and The Who and all the bands that my dad loved. But I really think that like when I started kind of like taking ownership of my own taste and started thinking about like music as a thing that I could like play in front of people, probably wasn't until like towards the end of high school. Like Gaslight Anthem was a huge band for me there. That first Tiger's Jaw LP was like a friggin' comet from outer space. It was like, oh shit, you can just like make music with your friends. Turns out you can. Yeah, what a crazy idea. And then like once I got to college and started like dedicating more time and energy to like exploring that, like that whole early 2010s scene, like the First Choice Manor record as well in there, Bomb the Music Industry.
Look, hey, he said one. I only got to say Slipknot.
They gave him the most time to think, and he's like, "So here's my list."
Here's my list. He's like,
here's every band I've ever been influenced by.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
You had another one.
You keep our cool points higher because we said Green Day and Slipknot. So you guys are doing great.
Oh my god! I just like how I just let Louis just run. I just let him cook.
I'm just like, yeah, I would have said that too.
I would have.
We can deduct some cool points, and I'll talk about all the folk punk bands that I was really into back then.
Oh, yeah, we got more points.
No, look, we're not going to talk Defiance, Ohio right now, right? Because
certainly
the Great Depression.
Perfect. Oh my god! Oh man. I
a lot of music. We're influenced by a lot of music.
A lot of music, yeah. Music.
We get to start talking about Talking Heads. I mean, this.
Oh yeah.
No, I definitely feel on like listening to a lot of classic rock because my parents were the same way. Like that's the type of music that I listened to, and then migrated into like Fall Out Boy, like Sum 41, Green Day, all that sort of stuff. Like the typical stuff you would see like on MTV or like on like MySpace or whatever. Kids, that was before Facebook. If you are younger than I don't know if you're in Gen Z or some shit, whatever. But
we're senior citizens. So
we're senior. Yeah, we are. Yeah, senior emos. But
you can actually have music play on your page.
I was gonna say, what's everyone's MySpace song?
There was this DIY band that I got into through MySpace called Voodoo Blue.
Shout out to Voodoo Blue.
Shout out to Voodoo Blue if somehow you listen to this episode. That one record whips. Thanks, guys. It was great. That was my MySpace song for like the entire time that site was relevant.
I was 100% that person that changed it like every 2 weeks.
So often.
That tracked so hard for you too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I also had the list on the side of my MySpace page that was like music, and it was like 70, 90 bands.
Man, I just scroll past all 70 bands just to find out who you were friends with.
Yep, exactly. Yep. What if like the Scotalites are on my page and they don't know that I'm a fan of them?
I need people to know how much taste I have. Okay? Because
my taste is no. Most taste.
Yeah, because it's like you look at me and it's like, yeah, that guy probably listens to punk, and it's like, yeah, but there's a lot of other sick genres. All right, you gotta be listening to outlaw country and stuff, gang. Come on.
I will say I was like reticent not to mention like the Warren Zevons of the world when we were talking about influences and like the weirder classic rock acts.
Yes.
Yeah,
I said outlaw country, and I'm like, fuck yeah.
Well, I was looking over here at like,
what CDs?
There's a pile of CDs over here, and I'm like, Paul Simon. I mean, come on, the greatest American songwriter. Like,
man, these guys just
Smile hanging out right here. We're old.
Music's sick, you know.
Good.
You didn't know if you were talking to us about music, you'll be here all night.
Listen. I got nothing better to do with my life, I think, at this point. So
I'm just glad. I'm glad you didn't lead with who are your influences, because I don't know that we would have gotten to other information about the record.
You're like, we're just here to talk about bands. I mean, we're like in one if you want to check us out, but like these are also, here's a list, and then you just like roll down like a green screen. You have like a PowerPoint presentation. You're like, here's some of my favorite bands, and each one of you takes like an hour slot. And meanwhile, I'm like, this is great. And then like I start to draw like eyes over my eyelids. You know, I'm just like, yeah.
Hour 4 of this presentation, not as exciting.
I'll be like, if you want to watch the uncut version, you can watch it on my Patreon.
I had to purchase an entire server to host it.
This is entirely live stream. It's 24-hour stream. But no, I love that, because I think if anything, it shows that like your care on music is like a priority, right? Like I think if you're more apt to go out and listen to different things, like I think it gives you just such a more broader perspective on making music. And like I tell this to, no offense to metalhead elitists, but like I tell that to shit all the time. It's
You're
like,
not a
go
metalhead. I
listen.
want to be clear. I just think Slipknot and System of a Down fuck. That's it.
But no, that was not directed at you, Pete. But I feel like some people aren't like, they're like, oh man, like I only listen to this genre, and I'm like, bro, there's like tons of genres out there, you know.
You're
Just go.
missing out.
You're missing out. You could be listening to like, I don't know, other indie rock or like K-pop or like, I don't know, other shit. So go show it some
Entire
love.
band likes 100 gecs, like hyper pop.
Hyper pop, yeah.
Like,
Em and I were in a ska band for 10 years.
Ayo.
I love disco. Like music is sick. You should listen to more of it.
I should just
And
quote
like
that.
listen to dance music. Don't trust a motherfucker that doesn't like dance music.
Yeah. That's true. Big facts.
That's my advice to you.
I'm just gonna take Pete's face and I'm gonna say like music sick and then put Pete 2024 in like one of those nice like fancy fonts, you know?
Do it.
It's like
do
one of
it.
those
Throw it on a
things. It's like one of
t-shirt,
those things you see like on like a motivational wall, you know? It's just like
Yeah.
music sick.
music, it's good.
Music good. It does things to you, you know? So there you go.
It's true.
I'll put that. That'll be my
The
motivation.
rhythm will find you.
And it'll also get you apparently as well. So you know, there you go. So salutes to music. But wanted to know, what are you guys jamming right now? What's on the Spotify? What have you guys been listening to lately?
You're laughing. You got an answer?
Yeah, because it's like I feel like normally I love to have like a new release in mind, you know, but like I'm like so in a weird like 90s hip hop hole right now. I've been listening to a dangerous amount of Wu-Tang Clan.
Oof. Nice.
When did
Okay.
it become dangerous? What's the tipping?
Yeah, sorry, just throw the woo for you there. So, I would say it became dangerous in December, and it's March now. So, I've become like a minor Rhodes Scholar in the history of the Wu-Tang Clan, and it's pretty sick.
I respect that.
I want to shout out all 3 bands who supported us in the record release. Caring Less has a new EP coming out, or a new record coming out that's going to be sick. Elephant Jake played, which is sick. But I've been listening to James Barrett's A Series of Mostly Nothing, like pretty much on loop since Friday night. That record is fucking awesome. It's a perfect album and everybody needs to listen to it. I don't have enough good things to say.
The year of JB.
It is the year of JB. We're honored to be a part of the year of JB.
I definitely want to shout out our friends in Marinara just put out a new record that's
God,
really
so
sick
bad.
too. They played our first single release, and they're like one of our favorite bands, like as people and also to play with.
And with Sales Ahead's couple singles have been.
I was gonna say
Fucking hard.
they're all really fucking good, but I really really like Darting Eyes like a lot.
Oh
I've
my
been
God.
playing that song a fucking that song goes so
I
hard.
know. That's my favorite song for sure. Success.
Oh man. Yeah, I definitely was listening to Goodness to Honest by Elephant Jake a lot leading up to the show for the last few months.
I had to tell Caleb to stop singing at our album release show because he was screaming the words to their song. I was like, buddy, we're up next. Like, you gotta stop. They're sick, but
Contain yourself.
Your voice. We're recording this. It's a long set.
But yeah, I feel like there's so many that I've been listening to that I can't. I keep thinking of Genesis Owusu because his relatively recent album is so good.
Good.
So if you haven't listened to him, listen to him.
I think y'all hit on the major, friends and friends of friends that I've been spinning. So the other two I would throw out is one of my favorite bands is DC's Bad Moves.
Oh yeah.
And they put out a single for the first time since like June 2020.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago. Song's called New Year's Reprieve. Went down there for a show, saw them in a band called Massey, and great show. And then all of us are big fans of Cheek Face.
Oh God, their new record is so.
And their new
so
record, It's Sorted.
Big cheek freaks over here.
Amazing.
Oh, we are
So
Cheek
fucking
Freaks.
good. This
That's
is a
so
Cheek
good.
Freak band.
Yeah.
It's true, without a doubt.
It's so funny because like you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, that new album's so good. It's like, but all their albums are so good. It's like I almost take for granted how hard they fucking rock.
Cheek Face has 4 LPs and all of them are excellent. It's crazy.
And then like one of my favorite bands is Charlie Bliss, and they have 2 new singles that came out last year. And I swear to God,
I was wondering when Pete was going to talk about the utter pain he is in for a new Charlie Bliss.
I have been waiting for this LP for 4 years, and they put out 2 singles, and then they're like, "Remember those singles we put out? They're good, right?" And it's like, "Yeah, I was in the top 0.5 percentile of your listenership this year, Charlie Bliss. Where's LP3?"
All else you did was move to Australia, buddy. No big deal.
Yeah, like, and I get it,
Give
but
her a break.
I
It took us 3 years and none of us moved to Australia.
yeah, you're right. I just want a new album. So good. Go listen to Charlie Bliss after us, I guess.
Also, another one I thought of is the new Dowsing. It's
Oh
very good.
yeah, that's great. I will agree.
Very good.
So good. I like how we got P riled up, man. I've never
Yeah,
seen
that's not
someone
hard.
Does not take
No.
much. Yeah.
fired up, man. Respect. Go check them out. Yeah, I'll have to go give them a listen. If you're watching this, listen, put the songs out. I feel like I feel like Pete gave you the best delivery you possibly could ever ask for in a fan. So listen.
We saw
Fan
them open up
service.
for Jimmy Eat World, and they played like 6 new songs, and like 5 of them are not out still.
I've heard these songs at 3 different shows. I know the words to the song.
Sorry, he calmed down, and I got it.
It's all right. No, listen, I
Great
respect
ride.
it. I fuck with it, you know, like whenever that was me screaming at the rooftops when I found out that shout outs to the homies in Greyhaven, they're releasing a new album or EP, and I'm like, bro, I've been waiting, you know. I mean, I haven't waited as long as Pete, and I'm getting a little tense, you know. So
Glad we can commiserate through this hard time. You know?
listen, we'll do it. Just stay strong, Pete. We'll get there. The next question I have for you guys is, I know that you did do a Blink-182 song, as you mentioned earlier, but if there was another song you guys could cover live or like record a version of a cover song, is there any songs that come to mind?
It's dangerous.
Listen, I'll take it. This is an important question. It's time to get it all out.
It's Flagpole Set Up by Harvey Danger.
Great answer.
We got close on that one. We might actually do that one yet.
I like
the
that
other
one.
one we were tossing around for the release show was Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
Because we thought getting a crowd of people to sing that hook would have been a blast.
Yeah. We also had Lawyers, Guns, and Money in the rotation for a potential.
That's 2 Warren Zevon shout outs. That's the band you get when you get one.
Like, music could have stopped after Lawyers, Guns, and Money. Song ever written. Like, it's perfect.
I co-signed this.
I told my mom, like, oh yeah, we were thinking about a Warren Zevon cover, and she's like, Lawyer, Guns, and Money? It's like, okay, you know which one.
That's the right answer.
It's the only answer.
That's great.
I'm a Warren Zevon
Yeah, he's got a ton of bangers.
Full record whips, but he closed on the right track.
That's right.
That's fair. That's fair. One that I really wanted to do a couple years ago was when, unfortunately, Adam Schlesinger of Fountains of Wayne passed away during
Some of the earlier people to like die of COVID. Like
yeah.
like 50 or 52.
And like everybody obviously knows Fountains of Wayne for Stacy's mom, but the rest of that record, Welcome to Interstate Management Welcome Interstate Managers.
Yeah.
is like one of my favorite records. It's like one of the records that got me into power pop and like synth music in general. And I think that they're like such a brilliant songwriting team. And I've always wanted to cover either Sing to the Bottom or like Mexican Wine, like any of their, you know, like
I remember when you were
minor
starting
singles.
that, and I was like, how about we do Bright Future in Sales? And at the time, Pete had a job he fucking hated. And he was like, too close to home. I was like, I absolutely can't do Bright Future in Sales.
Don't do that to me.
Behind the kid. We can't do that. So,
He's like crying through the bit like the kid. He's just like,
Teardrops on my drum head.
teardrops on my drum.
We've also done like a handful of covers too, because when we did to fund the first album, we did a Kickstarter, and one of the things was to have certain people, if they gave us enough money, would suggest songs, which we're still working through.
We have like so left.
Why would you bring this up? And he's already gonna bring it up.
This is the shame of my life that we're not done with these covers.
Fans heed our warning.
Another album out, and we haven't finished the covers for the first album. It's okay, but
Anyway,
it's okay. If you're gonna do that, charge a lot.
charge the entire thing
charge
the record, and then one person buys it, and you only have to cover one song. Covering 10 songs.
Here's a lot.
10 songs?
Yeah, we let 10 people buy
What the
this
fuck,
reward.
guys?
Other bands, learn from our mistake. Do not do.
It was too many. It was too many. I don't. That said, one of them was our cover of the 76ers victory song, which like
They got some press coverage.
that was like, yeah, that's like
It's our song that the most people have heard, because now on WIP, sometimes when the Sixers win, they play us
our version.
instead of the
Yeah,
original one.
That's actually
Like,
kind of sick.
I've been like driving home late at night, and I turn on WIP, and I hear us playing the Sixers song. It's so sick.
Also, because of that, we are the theme song for the
For a podcast.
Go Birds podcast on WIP.
Yeah.
So shout out to Go Birds podcast. What was the question?
cover. If we would do cover,
We also have done like
Fishing by Weezer was one of the first songs that we ever learned together.
yeah, that one wasn't even asked for
No.
by someone.
We just did that.
We did like a Bruce Springsteen song.
Mhm.
We've done we did
Dead Milkman.
Dead Milkmen. We did the
Oh,
December
Britney Spears is my
Toxic
favorite.
by
Toxic by Britney, it goes really
we
hard.
did a Clash song. So
Oh, and then we also did what was it, last year or 2 years ago, when the Phillies
Dancing on my own.
had
A year
their
and a half ago.
World Series run. We did Dancing on My Own, which was a lot of fun too.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well,
Our pop fuck.
typically I was gonna. Typically,
true.
this was the part where I was gonna say you should leave your suggestion in the comments, but just because you
If
have
you are one
some,
of 3 aggrieved Kickstarter contributors whose cover we have not finished yet, we accept your hate in the comments.
Say still leave your suggestions below, because I like to live dangerously, you know. So
I don't know about that.
Right.
But like literally 2 minutes ago, Em was like, "Take our advice, don't do this."
Yeah.
And then 2 minutes later, you're like, "Yeah, we could do a little bit more."
do as I
why
say, not as I do.
Yeah, why don't we add more to the plate? You know, it's fine. It's all good. You know, why not? You know, I feel like Louis over here is just like, oh man, I'm gonna have to micromanage the shit out of this.
It is
It's gonna
the
be.
game of my life. Yeah, finish that. You can call me Al cover.
You're like,
Yeah.
we didn't meet our deadline for this cover song, and we are now into LP possibly number 3 question mark,
Yeah.
and we didn't do the cover song.
it is also a close friend of ours.
Oh, okay.
Not a bad friend of ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my wife. We owe my wife one.
Yeah.
And Pete's wife.
Not going for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
She's gonna watch that.
It's our friend that bothers us the most about it.
He texts us
He
once a month.
He literally said during the show, he's like, "Oh, they're gonna do a cover. This is the time." Call me out.
And we had to be like, "Sorry, buddy. No, we learned a whole different one."
Oh my
That's how
god!
you made us to learn.
In our defense, you could call me out hard.
It's so
You don't have any horde players.
Yeah.
But so is feeling it.
Nope.
So
No, not
it's not as hard.
Just
but
saying.
it's still
Yeah, not hard. Just wasn't hard. Wasn't hard for anyone. Learning a Travis Barker part very easy, famously. It's fine. I nailed it. I'm great.
I'm playing like power chords on the bass, and he's like
break beats.
memorizing jazz subdivisions.
I will say that playing it live was, I think, the best we've played it. Like every practice was worse than we nailed it on the time that we needed to.
Game day player, baby.
I thought you were going to say every practice was worse than the one before, and I was like, chill, get close to that.
Caleb's just out here throwing everybody under the bus, just like, yeah, I think it could have been.
You guys played that. It sucked.
Yeah. You were definitely
God it
off
came
time. No, that's great. Well, if you would like to add to the load, you can do it in the comments. Please actually don't do that. But like, if you feel obliged to do it, you can do it. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to
Make
stop you.
Louis' strain even greater.
Next time we see Louis, he's just not going to have any hair. So that's, because he's
Totally
pulled it
gray.
Up. Totally gray.
From
He's
the
pulled
back
out.
mask.
The next question I have for you guys is another fun one. What is your favorite food to eat? What's your go-to?
Pizzas, I would say my easy answer. A good slice of pizza is a tough meal to beat, I think.
We have developed a pretty cool band habit of grabbing tacos before shows. And been real lucky that every time we play a show, there's an excellent taco place 3 blocks away somehow. So yeah, I'm a pizza guy, but I do love band taco time right before a gig.
Yeah,
love me some birria.
Yeah,
I was also going to say that Taco Riendo is by multiple venues, so you could walk there from any Northern Liberties Fishtown venue. So
I'm gonna have to say pizza again. Unfortunately, I wish I had another answer, but I should have looked up the name of that pizza place that my parents brought us to
That was
from.
sick. Oh my God.
So we were backlining and we had to get to the venue at 5:30.
Sure.
For a set time of 10:30.
Yeah, which is dangerous, as you know, right? And every band there is sick. I'm not gonna duck out and miss part of the set. We had to set up pretty much the whole time until doors, and then you have friends coming in
hey, what's going on? Who's going?
Music starts. The first band was on, and I'm fucked. I'm gonna be dead by the time I get up there. I'm so hungry. And my parents came and saw us, which is really, really nice. And they brought 2 pizzas.
They brought a little stack of pizza for the band.
Little stack of tiny pizzas.
God bless them.
Oh my God. And Pep gave me exactly 1 beer.
One beer.
Caleb's father-in-law.
Caleb's father-in-law is probably our biggest fan.
Yes.
He's come to 99% of our shows.
He's the man.
One of my friends actually after the show who came to support was like, I think one of your bandmates parents gave me a beer for wearing his shirt. I was like, that was Pep. That's definitely Pep.
So long story. The moral of the story is I ate 2 slices of pizza and drank 1 beer, and James Barrett's set was on, and I think I ascended to a higher plane of consciousness. I was like, this is as good as I've ever felt in my life.
we just see Louis just start to float
I was hovering over the merch table, exactly.
Yeah, hovering, yeah. Mid set, just has the bass just floating,
Yeah. They did both climb up onto and jump off of their amps during the set. That's a thing nobody knew they were going to do, and a thing that scared the shit out of me.
I was going to Louis, I was like, "You gonna do it? You're gonna do it?" And he's like, "I always do it." And I didn't think this through. My amp was on a bunch of wires, so when I jumped, it shook. And I was like, "Oh shit!" And I luckily landed.
You picked up on the bass amp too.
Yeah, it was on
the bass amp is solid state. It's not heavy.
No.
So the fact that you could climb up on it without it just fucking perfect. Kudos.
Well, I was entombed in my sweaty jeans.
Yeah.
Stretching up
great range of motion. Yeah. Sure.
So when Em and I were in a band together for 10 years before this one, and we had a show once where the one of the saxophone players in our band,
shout out Andy,
still one of our dear friends to this day, and he tried to climb up on a table during a set, and the leg collapsed underneath him, and he snapped his ankle or his shin, and
finished the set. And climbed back up on stage. He yelled for a chair. my wife, who was at that show, brought him a chair, and he played the entire show with a broken leg and then went to the ER.
And
So when they were climbing up in the amps, they were like, "This is sick," and he and I are like, "It's gonna happen."
PTSD, PTSD.
Snap their fucking legs.
And one of our friends who was there, it's actually the sibling of the bandmate who broke his leg, said that she saw me like my eyes widened, and I was like, "Oh, I really hope we got that on footage." He's so funny.
Like a very like
Just like, oh,
like mockumentary take.
The flashback, yeah.
Just see like the shitty low res
Yeah.
like digital zoom on Pete's face, like the pixels get real big.
If I could find, if whoever has that video, I will edit it like a mockumentary type thing. So let me know, DM me. I'll actually do it. That'd be amazing. But great choices. I love that. If Louis can figure out where his parents got the pizza, I will shout them out as well too. So
Yeah, I'm gonna text them. But I'll text you. I'll let
Big
you know.
salutes. I got you guys. But
Oh, yeah.
the next question I have for you is, if you guys were to have a dream collaboration on an up-and-coming Longfriend, Time Friend track, who would you love to have on? This question actually gets broken up into two answers. The first answer is more feasible. You know, if you know someone and you're like, hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you tell them now, like, hey, I want you, that guy. You know, you look in the camera right now, that's you. I want you to be on our song. And then obviously second choice or second pick is the manifestation. We're putting it out there, you know, so you can put it on social media. And, you know, obviously you guys are homies already. So, you know, it's just letting them know. Just a friendly reminder, you know.
I have an absolutely unhinged answer to this
I love
question,
this.
so I'm going to lead off, and then it'll get more normal from there. Sierra from With Sales Ahead and I were talking on Twitter about doing a covers compilation of the Digimon the movie soundtrack.
Hell yeah!
I'm not done.
Next year's the 25th anniversary.
Next year's the 25th anniversary of Digimon the movie. Notably, everyone knows this.
Of course.
And the soundtrack whips. It's great, like late 90s, like third wave ska. 1 Week by the Bare Naked Ladies. There's a Fat Boy Slim track on there.
Kids in America by Len.
The Len cover of Kids in America. And anyway, our friends in Pulses are playing a couple shows with Jer of Skatoon Network fame, and I want so badly to do a cover of All My Best Friends Are Metalheads for this comp that Jer plays trombone on.
And then,
so this is me manifesting my absolutely unhinged idea.
Let's
and
go.
Jer, come play on our covers comp for Digimon.
Let's go.
it would be such a dream come true for me because we got to cover Feeling This. If I can hit All My Best Friends Are Metalheads by Less Than Jake, I feel like
what's left to do?
I think that's all the covers. I think that's good.
There are no more frontiers.
Yeah. Except for all the ones you comment down below, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the dream. We're gonna try and make that happen next year. We'll see what happens.
Does anyone have a less ridiculous answer than mine, or is that just like, you know, nowhere to go from there?
I think that's pretty perfect.
That's pretty broken. Yeah. That's OP, you know, so we love that.
So you know, sorry to Pulses, who does not know that we are conspiring, Sierra and I, to make this happen. But we want you all to. We want Pulses to do the Fat Boy Slim cover so badly.
Yeah,
if you are at all open to doing the Rockefeller Skank by Fat Boy Slim, Sierra and I are going to talk you into it either way.
Yeah, Em and I were like, Em pitched this idea to me, and then we were immediately like, all right, what bands do we know that would do this?
And look at the track list and like assigning songs to bands, you know. Useful way to spend the pre-release time. Right before
Hey,
the album
listen.
comes.
You're a year out. We got it. We can do it. We'll signal
There's
boost it right now. Yep.
There's a Dim Wizard song that features Dim Wizard, who's in Bad Moves, right? And also Jeff Rosenstock and Illuminati Hotties, and I think someone else. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anyone else who's in that song. But literally that whole group, if we would do something with that group of people, that would be a fucking.
You want us to get invited to the coolest super
High school song. The next Dim Wizard, next time you're in studio, please invite Longfriend, Time Friend for whatever crazy bullshit you're doing. Ride the Vibe is one of my favorite songs of the last 5 years.
If you want to create like a way less high profile Boy Genius situation.
Oh my god.
What's like the inverse of a super group? And don't answer.
What's it called when it's a super group when it's like one famous person and then a bunch of people no one's ever heard of? That's
Oh, can I pull a third Warren Zevon moment into this?
yes, please.
For exactly one record, Warren Zevon recruited the members of REM to be his backing band in a supergroup that existed for literally one record of time.
Really?
And I have never met another person for whom this wasn't new information when I talk about it.
How that escaped my.
How did it
That's
ever
insane.
happen? And the craziest part is it's not that good.
Oh,
Oh,
What a bummer.
damn
wish
it.
I didn't know about it now. I guess.
Now I gotta see if it's mid.
That's why no one knows.
That's why no one knows.
Yeah, now I gotta suss it out. Is it mid? You know, now I have to find out if it's gonna be mid or not.
Don't tell me I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong.
No, I mean, I'm just trying to clarify if it's mid or not. That's, you know, I objectively have to know. Yeah, could be better. You know, like, man, this is great. I feel like you guys are cooking. So I'm gonna try. This is our time, guys. All right. So if you had listened to this entire minute segment or longer, and you feel obliged and you feel like the calling to go on Instagram right now and tag Longfriend, Timefriend, and Pulses, and Scott2 Network, and With Sales Ahead, then you should absolutely go do that right now, and then type the word
Make my
collab,
dumb dreams happen.
We gotta manifest this comp in the honor of Digimon.
and then tag Digimon, of course, because obviously you're gonna do that, and then say 25th anniversary collab ? And then just post it on your story, and it's gonna work. That's all I'm gonna say.
Grassroots campaign, it can't fail.
It cannot fail. And
That's what
listen,
community can do, everyone.
I
Listen,
think that's
it's-
actually what the Digimon movie's about.
Something
yeah,
like that.
exactly. We're committing to it, and as well as that, listen, it's on the internet, so it's probably gotta be real. So, just saying, you know, it's facts, proven by science. So go do it. Don't be a wimp. Do it.
Make
I'm
this
calling
happen
you.
for us.
We're going digital.
I could do
Yeah, one of the original songs in the film is "We're Going Digital," of which the hook is "We're going digital."
That's-
completely digital.
That's it. That's all they had.
All the budget went to licensing songs, I think.
Yeah.
I respect that. Yeah. So go check it out. If you want to make your comments known, then you should absolutely go do that. But speaking about video games, your boy is a big nerd. So of course I have to ask this question. If you guys could be a video game character, who would you be?
Cooking Mama.
You always sit here being like, man, most of my favorite video games, I don't know if I want those things to happen to me. And Louis, same wavelength. He's like, I'm gonna make some great food.
Hey,
No
yo.
skate. It's gonna be a good time.
Hey yo. Hey yo. Yeah, I'm gonna cheers to
I love
that.
to see it.
The nerd in me, I don't have it in me to not answer this seriously. And
Just why I go.
What's the serious?
That is a serious answer. Yeah.
and I really feel like the only safe answer would be to be a player character in the world of Pokemon, because it's the only world in which the knowledge I have would actually be applicable to make me not immediately die.
Yeah, everything else I would have to be physically fit, and I am not.
Yeah.
And I don't want to find out how quickly I die. I want a little monster to do it for me.
It's like,
so
in real life, I'm good at training animals, and I know all the numbers. So, like, I feel like I got it.
Pokemon starts talking. It's like, I know. I already know.
I'm with it.
Yeah, water beats fire. It's not confusing. Don't put me on a cliff somewhere. I will fall. It's not gonna work.
I was trying to think of a serious answer, but no, Yoshi.
You would okay?
I'm just gonna inhale people and then make them eggs.
I'm sending you a compilation of all the times Mario just leaves him to die.
Yeah,
But
sure.
there are parts in Mario where you have to.
You literally have to kill Yoshi to progress. So, that's the fate you signed up for.
Cool.
Same.
Your answer was not very serious.
Damn it, Caleb.
Poor Caleb. Pour one out for Caleb on that one. That one's
Poor Yoshi.
R.I.P. Just like across the.
I guess I choose to be Kirby, right? Kirby is
Kirby's
just like,
sick,
how do you
yeah.
beat Kirby?
Kirby is like a eldritch horror
Yeah,
that is adorable. So yeah,
is that not the goal?
I think that's fine.
That gives me gender envy.
fair.
Eldritch horror that is adorable. That's what I'm trying
That's
to.
all I've ever wanted.
Kirby, final answer.
I've also wanted to be a horrific monster and cute at the same time, you know?
It's the best vibe you
It's
can
the
have.
best vibe. Yeah, that's good. I do really love Louis' answer, Cookie Mama. He's like, Louis just like,
Right.
listen, 3-star Michelin chef, that's just what I want to be.
Very.
You would be
Louis.
very happy.
I already like doing all that stuff.
I feel like you should just do like I feel like for Halloween it would be hilarious if Louis dressed up as Cooking Mama for a show, like, and just
I
had
love it.
like
We
the
should
full
do
like.
Halloween show. We all have to dress as our answers.
I will absolutely try to play lead guitar as Kirby.
I could find Yoshi.
Inflatable Kirby suits.
Sick.
Yeah,
It's very easy to find.
That'd be
you
interesting.
already have all the stuff you
Yeah.
need.
I already got enough Pokemon toys. I
He
can do it.
just dresses like that sometimes.
It's called streetwear, you know.
It's called streetwear.
Shoeless gloves.
It's called being cool, all right. Take a page out of my book, Cooking Mama. Yeah.
Cookie Mama's so cool. Come
Nah, yeah, Cooking Mama's a G. We love Cooking Mama, but great answer. Obviously, you know, most people know I'm a huge Pokemon fan. Obviously, I've got my Coco sleeping, you know, my guy.
Oh,
The
what a
homie.
cute little baby.
Cute little baby. Little
We love
croc.
Fuecoco.
He's the homie. But the next question I have for you guys is if you were to put a dream tour lineup together, including yourselves, who'd be on this lineup?
Ooh, baby.
Jeff and Pup.
Yeah, that was exactly my thought. Is we open for Jeff Rosenstock and Pup. That would be.
I would love to throw Ezra Furman on that tour if we could too. I think
Sure. And we'll complain.
fucking kills and like bring a little bit more queerness to the lineup, you know.
Absolutely.
Respect.
But like this is the quickest answer you'll get from us. That's the lineup.
That is a great lineup. So, you know, Jeff,
Our guiding lights.
I know, Jeff, I know you watch the show. Thank you for watching. You know, if you want to take,
Thank you,
you know,
Jeff.
long friend out, I mean, hey, listen, I'm not going to be complaining. So, yeah, just saying. From one homie to another, you know. I feel like at least if one time I say that, someone's going to be like, actually, I do watch your show and you're sick. So, yeah, I'll take them out, you know. So I'm hoping Jeff.
Shocking if it was.
Yeah, I gotta say, I really hope it's Jeff.
I
that
really
would
hope
be
it's
cool.
Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would feel so vindicated if Jeff was like, yeah, I actually watch your show and like, I love these guys. They're sick, you know?
Yeah, me too. I would also love that.
I would shit my
also,
pants.
you know, if you're listening, Jeff, I just want to say I really loved your work on Craig at the Creek. You know.
Hell yeah,
Yeah. There you
love
go.
that.
Yeah. We could throw a little simp in there. That's great. I think that'll work.
Mhm.
You know?
For, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. It wasn't a bad thing. I mean, like, obviously. This is the Jeff Rosenstock Simp Club. So I feel, you know, we're good. On good hands
That's actually
here.
what we call the basement we're in right
Yeah, I have a membership card right here.
We did actually once have an instance where we had all gone to see Jeff, and then the next show we played, we're like, so we're not all wearing the new shirts we just bought, right? We're not all gonna show.
I will say, when Pete and I were in a ska band together, we were lucky enough to play a show with Bomb the Music Industry. So we have played a show with Jeff Rosenstock in our past.
That is probably one of the
It's the
cooler.
coolest thing we can say about
It's the most insane flex.
we work it into conversation as often
As often as possible.
So
Yeah.
if you ever meet us, just be warned, we're going to talk about
It's coming up.
Just talking about it, yeah. And we're talking about it now. So I feel like, you know, we're living true to the honest conversations we have here. So, Jeff, you know, we talk so much about you in just this 5-minute span. So, you know, just saying, let us know. Hit us. DMs are open. My DMs are open right now. So,
Hit my line.
hit our line. We got it. But the next question I have for you guys is, what is your favorite TV show, favorite movie? Also, anime is included just in case, you know, just to get that out there.
My favorite TV show is BoJack Horseman. I've watched it probably 6 times. I'll watch it probably 60 more before I die. I think it's just incredible that it went from such an outlandish premise to such a serious and interested but still hilarious like treatise on what it's like to live with trauma and depression. Towards the end of the show, there's this quote where the main character like offhandedly says, "Life's a bitch and then you die," and somebody corrects him and goes, sometimes life's a bitch and then you keep living." And it's very much the ethos of the show, is that like whatever fucking horrible stuff you've had to live through, you got to figure out how to be a person in the world. And I love it for that. I think it's a fantastic show.
Agreed.
So there's no show I've ever quoted more than The Simpsons, so I have to say The Simpsons. At least the first 10 seasons or so of The Simpsons. You know, it's just ingrained in my brain to react by saying Simpsons quotes at given times. And you said movie too.
Movie as well. Yep.
I think movie, I haven't told myself. That's hard for me because I feel like I always go like, this is my favorite, this is great. But I think the last time I felt that way was Parasite.
Ooh, that's a great film. Yeah.
So with another 2019 movie for mine, Portrait of a Lady on Fire by Celine Sciamma is my favorite movie of all time. The way it like cultivates like a sense of security and then just shatters that glass. It's such a good, if you like heartbreaking romance, which I didn't know I did until I saw that movie, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. So good. Pressure's on, Lou.
All right, I'm just not going to think that much about it.
Okay.
I'm not going to say The Simpsons because Caleb said it. I'm just going to say Seinfeld. It's the best show. It's the best comedy. I love Seinfeld. I can watch it anytime, like literally any episode. And without thinking too hard about movies, like enough time has passed. Dune 2 might just be the best fucking movie I've ever seen.
Whoa.
Bold.
I know I just saw it. I know it just came out. So many movies I love. But like,
Lou's like a capital M movie guy, so that's big praise.
Can't get over how good that fucking movie was.
Like, too afraid of recency bias. Love this take, Lou.
Like, when I got up to the theater, the first thing I said was like, I might just be too excited, but that might be my favorite movie. Fuck it. I can't think of a better time that I've had watching a movie than see it. Like, my wife and I went in IMAX with like the full, Dolby sound, man. You're in there. We went on like a Sunday morning.
Oh.
My parents were watching The Baby. It was great. What a perfect morning. IMAX at 9 a.m. It was amazing.
Lou's favorite movie is Childcare.
And I was gonna say that's what.
Lou's favorite movie is A Morning Off.
One that
morning
comes with
off,
a baby.
yeah. Not having the baby.
Without getting too deep into it, like I love the source material. Denny's amazing. I'm gonna have childcare this weekend. I might go see it a third time.
Let's go.
And I want to see it.
Let's go.
We're going to see it on Monday if you want to come.
It's tough.
Take your job. Don't go to work.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's work?
I think my go-to answer is probably Bob's Burgers. I'm a big fan of a good animated sitcom, right? And I think Bob's Burgers hits a really good note for me of that. Like I think it's very, very funny, but I also like that the core of the show is very warm, and I think there's a lot of especially family comedies that have kind of I think taken the edginess of The Simpsons without some of the heart as much. And I like that Bob's Burgers is a show that portrays a couple who actually are in love and a family that likes to spend time together, and that a lot of the
that great middle of the Venn diagram of they're little freaks and they love each other.
Yeah.
They don't stand them down out of their weirdness. They're super weird. They're super dysfunctional, and it's got a ton of heart.
And I like that
it's our dynamic.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I like that it celebrates weirdos, for sure. And it's also just I think an eminently rewatchable show.
Great.
I'm waiting this movie answer with bated breath.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one for me because I think it's I have
a guess of
I have two answers that come to mind. I think
Pick one.
Okay.
You can do it. I'm so proud of you. Come on.
Okay, gut reaction. I think my favorite movie is actually Her.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Wow.
I really love that movie. I am such a romantic, and not just for like romance. Like I really love the romanticization of simple things, and I love that it's a good love story. It's a unique piece of science fiction, but also the way that it's shot and the way that it establishes mood. Like there's like a scene where they're on a date at the boardwalk, and there's this like really beautiful piece of music as they're kind of just like spinning around, and it's just such a like really incredible moment. And it's like wild that it's Joaquin Phoenix having this much chemistry with a phone. You know, it's like it is. There's something about that movie I think that is really, really special.
Yeah, I think a bird's eye view. It's definitely like, would I watch this movie? But then that was kind of like my initial thought when watching her. I was like, watching the trailer, I was like, would I enjoy this movie? Like, I'm on my phones like pretty frequently. Am I in love with my phone? You know, and so I think at first I was like, I don't know if I'll watch it, but then I wind up watching it, and I was like, no, this is a great film. So go watch it if you haven't already.
And that's it's what the director's Spike Jones.
Spike Jones, I
And
think, yeah.
I love that, like, he is I don't know enough about him as a person to say he's like my guy, but I think it's really cool that like the two pieces I associate him with are that and Jackass. And I'm like, that speaks to me, right? Like having those
the intersection of those two pieces
Yeah.
of media. That's
like those are the two extremes of culture, you know, like
The dichotomy
I
of
love
man.
those-
Yeah.
maybe fall on the Jackass her continuum.
yeah, and it's like that's an important question. I think we should be asking that question more.
Did you ever see Yeah Right?
I have
don't
not
think I
seen it right. No.
It's like the girl skateboard company, like skate compilation video that he directed.
Oh,
I think it was like 2000 or 2001, something like that. It is so sick.
that's what I knew that he had a background in skate videos. But
Yeah.
That's what the band's going to be doing after this.
yeah, shit. We watch him.
Oh, yeah.
Every video game. I'm not skateboarding.
My guess for you would have been Spider-Verse, is what I was.
That is a great contender.
I thought it was going to be her, Scott Pilgrim.
That was my second.
Oh.
Scott Pilgrim also.
Scott
yeah,
Pilgrim. Oh,
Just saying this isn't the Newlywed Game.
Yes,
you would have.
we would crush it.
We would crush
you
it.
would crush it.
Yeah, I know that wasn't my answer, but yeah, just what a film. I mean, like, I love the comic. I'm a big comic person. I love the way that it's shot and its sensibility. But like, I think it's like I think that the way that story portrays like subculture is something that I really, really appreciated, especially when I was young and like had this moment of like, oh, like there are a lot of other people out there that are interested in movies and comics and games and music and, you know, and like
nerd culture.
yeah. And it's like, not that I feel a connection to the character of Scott Pilgrim or anything like that, but more like its portrayal of subculture and counterculture as community was something that like I really resonated with when I was young, for sure.
A story that celebrates weirdos.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's big facts. You know, I love that. The last two questions I would argue are pretty large questions that I always tail end all of my interviews with. So if you can climb the monolith, I'm gonna be proud of you guys. I mean, I'm proud of you guys regardless, but if you're gonna do it, I feel like you're gonna do it. But this question is newer in the rotation, but I felt so convicted to complete it and add it to the collection, so I had to talk about it. But you know, obviously we're talking about larger topics at the beginning of this interview, but I wanted to know if there is some way you could go back in time and tell your younger self something. Is there anything that you would tell your younger self about you and like things that you would, I guess, like, you know, give yourself advice on?
You want to start with this one, Em?
Am I the first trans person you've asked this question on the show?
No, I don't think so.
Hell yeah. Because my answer is easy as shit. I would go back in time and tell probably like my 13, 14-year-old self to listen to themselves way more and other people way less. You know, I think of my like early 20s as a journey through trying to live life everyone else's way. and then like the last 5-ish years of my life, which has been pretty fortunately documented by the songs that this band has made, as going back and saying, fuck it, I was onto something when I was younger. I knew more about myself than other people knew about me. Finding a gender identity that fits me, finding relationship structures that fit me, and just living a lot more honestly. So yeah, I would go back and tell a younger version of myself, new teenager, freshman in high school version of myself, you know what you're doing. Trust yourself a lot more.
I like that.
Mine would probably be, for one, practice. As a teenager, I was just like, I'll just get better at music eventually somehow, and never practice. But like also like, I wish I was seriously like started a band earlier than I did. Like I had like like these two. Because like I feel like I've gotten better as a musician in the past 4 or 5 years, just because I have other people to work with that I'm not afraid to like make mistakes around and have them like if I fuck up, they go like, oh, can you just play that differently or play that like and then like I work through the mistakes and it has been so beneficial for me. Whereas like I feel like for so long I was just trying to be a musician by myself without any other like critiques, and I think it is kind of bettered my musicianship just being here.
Oh, yeah, bud.
Yes.
Aw.
Love you, buddy.
You've made us better too.
Yeah. Mine is sort of the same in that I would tell myself that like no one ever made anything worthwhile by being afraid to make something that wasn't good. I think that as I've gotten a little bit older and like more comfortable with the possibility of being embarrassed or the possibility of like trying something new, I've realized how integral that is to like just getting better at like literally anything. I think that in my like 20s, I kind of scared myself away from creative stuff just because I was like, well, there's no way that this will be as good as I want it to be. And because of that, I don't want anyone to see it or something like that, like whether that's like writing or music or things like that. When Caleb asked me if I still had a bass, I had kind of like just kind of come to terms with the fact that like I'm probably not really going to be playing music anymore, which was like really like sad and kind of heavy. And I think that being a part of this with a bunch of people that I really love has made me much more like comfortable with tapping into those parts of yourself that like you need to make something new. And like what the fuck am I saving that for? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's something that gets better when you use it. Like when you're willing to write something and play something in front of people and send somebody something to read. Like I try to do that as much as I possibly can now. And I wish I had approached like my early 20s with that same ethos.
I think mine is kind of a combination of a few of those answers where like I think the first thing I would tell myself is you have ADHD, so get diagnosed and start taking Adderall. And I think that would have solved a lot of problems that I found. Like I found myself chasing my tail a lot. When I was younger. And I think in the same vein as that, I would I think try to give myself practical advice about developing secondary skills earlier. Because I think that's something that I wish I had recognized younger. Because like I think about like Em and I, like I said, we were in a band for 10 years, right? And like it wasn't until the like near the end of that project where we really started recording things. And I wish I had like taken more time to learn stuff I know how to do now when I was younger. So I like, either was better at it now or that I had been able to take more advantage of opportunities to do things like that, and at those other, previous times in my life when, we could have had demos of things and we could have, songs that never got recorded. We could have something, right? Like, and I think like, recognizing, you said something earlier, right? That like the album has this theme of like recognizing the beauty of the moment that you're in right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I've really only started to understand now. And I think a lot about times that I look back on fondly now, and I think about how much of it I spent being unhappy and wishing I was somewhere else rather than appreciating the things that would change eventually and that wouldn't be there anymore.
Yeah, no, I think you all had profound answers, which I'm stoked about because I think it's always interesting to get perspective on people who do music and stuff because obviously I've been doing this for 8 years, you know, so like I know it's like to grind it out and slog it out, and um I think it's so. I think people will tell you that like you shouldn't do this because you know, and they'll give you a laundry list of reasons why you shouldn't do it, but like to point out what M said, it was just like really appreciative of just doing shit that you enjoy doing. Like they're not controlling your life. You just go out and do the shit you like. If that makes you happy, like go fucking do it. You know, that's like the
And
best part
even
about
beyond
doing
that, like you don't even know what it is until
Yeah.
you start.
Until you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Doing it
Like,
now.
and whatever you imagined it being, it's probably not. And what it actually is probably way cooler.
it. Yeah.
Most people who discouraged me from pursuing music more seriously were thinking about it as a job prospect instead of like a place to build incredible community
Yeah.
and
Oh,
feel
yeah.
very creatively
Or,
satisfied.
yeah, find creative fulfillment, right? Like
Those people didn't know what the fuck they were talking about, and the magnetism I felt towards music was correct. You know, I mean, we're proof of that for ourselves.
yeah, like I mean, you know, it's so funny to me to think about that as like the only end goal of trying to make art, right? Like such like a toxic capitalistic mindset. Yeah, it's like you know, like when we started this band, like you know, you guys were strangers, and it's like we're like family now. It's like that to me is you know, if that's all we got out of doing this, like that was worth it. You know,
Like,
it's
if all we got was playing to a full room in our favorite venue in the city, it's like, oh damn.
yeah. Oh, wow. Oh no, I lived
Oh.
my childhood dream. Oh no, like
A lot of like loved ones and you know like it's great night.
Very nice.
Can't believe I did
spend
that.
the day
That's
with your
crazy.
friends. It's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, and I think that's why I continue to do this is like the community is just so great, and like obviously very happy to have y'all part of the audio addiction fam. So much love to
Thank
you
for having us
guys.
on. This has been really fun.
Of course, but I feel like I have to give you the last segment to you guys. Tell them where they can find Long Friend, Time Friend, what you guys have coming up in the next couple months, and where they can listen to the album. Any of that other stuff that you'd like to talk about is now your time to tell them.
Absolutely. The record is on, you know, pretty much every major streaming service. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music. It's up on Bandcamp if you decide you want to like own a copy of it. And you're like a library collector weirdo like I am, and you need the files.
We are also giving it away.
We're also giving it away. This little card that we've got here has a QR on the back of it. And
We'll see if that works. Scan it. I don't know.
in the notes, but we just want people to hear it, you know, and just in particular as a record, right? Like as a, you know, as a thing with an arc, as a thing with a beginning and an end. The lyrics for the record are on Bandcamp, so if you're somebody who likes to, you know, read along and know what the hell we're singing about, Bandcamp's the place to find them. And as for stuff we've got coming up, we've got a show at Ortlieb's that'll probably be over by the time this comes out. But
And then
hell yeah, I'm sure it was a blast.
But then
The
following
following
Saturday,
Saturday we're playing in Doylestown.
say the date. Say the date.
3:30, March 30th.
March 30th. We're playing.
At Nomad skateboard shop. No, it's Nomad.
Nomad Skateboard Shop.
It has another word in there, and I don't remember what it is, but it's Nomad. Is
Nomad Skate Doylestown. We'll be there.
Yeah.
And then we're playing New Hampshire and Boston the following weekend. So if you want to go follow us on social media, you can find posts about all the places we're playing and stuff.
We're active on Twitter, we're active on Instagram, we're active on TikTok. So if you want to find us on any of those apps, we'll keep you posted on what we're doing.
But yeah, the number one thing is go listen to the record. Please.
Listen to the record. Send it to your friends. Send it to your grandma.
I think she'll like it.
I think she'll like
My
it.
My grandma likes it.
My grandma's just
Yeah. Grandparent
Grandma-
approve.
If your grandparents are cool.
Yeah, if they're cool.
Find out if your
This
grandparents
is,
are cool.
this is the test. This is the test, guys. Are your grandparents cool?
Disown them if they don't like the record. That's the cutoff.
No,
Too far. Okay. We found the line. It's good. It's good that we found the line. It's good.
I'm glad you found it on this interview. Now you know where the line, now you have video documentation of where the line's at and you'll never cross it again.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thanks
I'm
for
glad.
the help.
I'm glad we could figure that out together. But if you have not checked out Longfriend Time Frame and you do live in the greater Philadelphia area, what is wrong with you? You should go out and see them. Don't be stupid. Go check them out, especially if you live in here in Pennsylvania. You know who I'm talking about. Look, yeah, you, the guy I'm pointing at right now. Go check them out. They have a new album out called Here's to Not Feeling Worse. You can check the links in the description. Go pick it up. If you can buy it on Bandcamp, go do it because that's really great and it also supports the band. So go do that. Show it some love. I'm also sure they probably have merch and stuff. So go pick up some merch if you feel so inclined to.
Frogs on it.
Frogs? All right, I got to do it now.
We're a very Kermit the Frog centric band.
Hell yeah. All right, I'm going to get the Kermit the Frog
He's gonna
shirt.
probably get it before we say goodbye.
I'm gonna
Don't knock over anything.
It's gonna.
Here it comes.
He just knock over anything.
Face planning.
Oh, hell yeah. All right, I got to get that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get that. So go pick it up. Links down in the description. Also, I'll go leave all of their social media as well. Go give them a follow. Go give them a subscribe. I'm sure they have a YouTube channel as well. Go do that. Go show them some love. That'd be greatly appreciated. Also, again, major shout outs to, with Sales Ahead Pulses. I know they didn't have anything to do with setting this up, but that's how I found out about Longfriend Time Friend. So you should go show them some love.
Shout them out as much as you want.
Shout
Yeah.
them out. They're the major homies. As well as that, if you enjoyed this interview, share, like, and subscribe. Your boy does a lot of stuff. So if you are in the area or you are a band, hit me up. Would love to have you on the show. And huge thanks to Longfriend Time Friend for coming on.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.